Coach B, coming at you on my birthday. I'm wearing my birthday shirt here. January 22nd, 2013. And we've got a show for you tonight. We're just going to jump right into it. Here's the screen. We're working on a new series, my friends. This is program 547. And the new series is all about Common Core. Here's the screen. Common Core, WBT Common Core. That's what we're doing tonight. And these are great lessons because all you have to do is pop the PDF in your computer as DD Rainbow and let Coach B and the Mind Giants do the teaching for you. Let me just stop for a second before I start racing forward. Here's the idea. In previous webcasts, we directed them to teachers. But what we're doing now is we're creating PDFs that you can put in your computer and let me and some of our Mind Giants teach the class for you. Yes. And tonight I'm very excited because it's taken a long time, but I finally see the template where whole brain teaching can work in a PDF computer format. So I've included the scoreboard and hands and eyes and mirror and the teach okay. It works marvelously smooth. I don't know why I wasn't smart enough to figure out this format before. Here we go. First thing you do is you tell your kids, we're not going to have 2nd grade or 5th grade or 7th grade today. We're going to Whole Brain College. We're going to Whole Brain College. And you show them that screen. Now, at the start of the program, you don't show them this stuff. But here's what we're going to do. A 5-step lesson. Step 1, question. Step 2, answer. Step 3, expand it. Then test and then write. And it's all here for you. And the question is, what is an inference? One of the most vexing questions in education. Your kids just need to know how to do the class yes, hands and eyes, mirror words, the scoreboard, and teach okay. That's what they need to know how to do. And if you go to wholebrainteaching.com, you'll find lots of information on that. And you'll also find information on the 5-step lesson plan. All this is, you don't show this to your kids. This is just the warm-up just for me and you, the teacher. I want you to put a scoreboard on your board, though in fact, the scoreboard in this program will work. You'll see. I'll make the marks for you. I just want you to sit in the back of the classroom and drink foamy lattes and just punch the button. Actually, when you punch a button, I want you to walk around and hear the kids do the teach okay. Lesson takes place at Whole Brain College. All you have to do is read my speeches. Now, there is one important point. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. When you see a brackets like this, don't read this part. You'll see what I mean in a second. You are just going to do it. So right now you would be nodding your head. The brackets show you the motions. The brackets show you the motions that you should be engaged in when you're reading the speeches. Now I'm going to show you some sample slides that just tell you how the program works. And you'll know they're a sample because it's got a big red on it. So down here is the directions. You're still not starting with your kids. You read my speeches. That's all you have to do. If you see several speeches, like here's hands and eyes, and here's another speech, and here's another speech, make a little pause in between to be sure that you've got the kids' attention. The speech bubbles, pause for each one. You may have to say hands and eyes 2 or 3 times. That's okay. Every once in a while I put a word in bold. Very, full, big, repeat. That just gives you a cue Vary your pacing and your emphasis. Another sample screen. This is the only hard thing. When you do mirror words, and you'll see how I do it, speak slowly. You'd say, our question is. You say mirror words, they say mirror words. You say, our question is. They'll say, our question is. And then in each of these speeches, I have some brackets to show you what to do with your hands. Let me just zoom in here. I'm coming here. I want you to be able to see this. Right here. I'm going to full screen. So, our question is, what's an inference? Our answer is, an inference uses what you know to try to prove what you don't know. There's a simple definition. And then, with two hands, make a gesture as if you're moving something in the air from your left, what you know, to your right, what you don't know. And I'll demo that gesture in a second. Let me enlarge my screen. This is all just preparation for the lesson. Here's the gesture. I'll show it to you again. An inference uses what you know to try to prove what you don't know. That's the whole inference gesture, and that's the whole inference definition. Everybody with me? You see how simple that definition is. Don't read the sections in brackets. Thank you so much, my friends, you're with me. Every once in a while, I'll have a scoreboard in the program. You can either mark the points on the board or just use the points as I mark them in the program. The main thing is, I really don't want you just pushing the buttons. When the kids are doing the teach okay, walk around and listen to them. And that'll tell you, should you go on to another slide? Or should you reteach? So I'm kidding about the lattes. I bet you thought I was serious. All right. So now we're ready. Weave the golden thread of fun through everything we do. Here's your program starting right here. Step 1, question. Coach B, welcome. I'm Coach B, your college professor. Rub your hands together and tell your neighbor, oh, sweet mama, I'm going to love going to college. And this is what that looks like. Kids love this. Oh, sweet mama, I'm going to love going to college. And no matter how they do it, you're going to say, class, class. You're reading my speeches. And then you go, not fast enough, mighty grown. And mark a frowny. Or just let my scoreboard in the program keep track of your frownies. Do you see how neat it is to have the scoreboard in the program so you don't even have to think about it? Everything's in the program. That's what's so beautiful about this template. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out, but everything is in the program. All of the bits and pieces of whole brain teaching. So here's a 5-step lesson plan you're going to be able to download at the end of this thing. Then you say, not loud enough, mighty groan. And they groan. Then you say, great job, mighty oh yeah. And they give you the mighty oh yeah. It looks like this. Oh yeah. And then you go, super, mighty oh yeah. Very, very simple. Next screen. Class, class. And they say yes, yes, and then you say hands and eyes. We're going to have a very exciting day today in Whole Brain College. Oh, so exciting. Make a full turn to your neighbor, use big gestures, and repeat what I said over and over. Teach! See, the clap, clap is in there. Now stop for a second. I'm going to give you a tight shot. Let me give you a tight shot of this bit of the program right here. All through the program, we're finishing each slide, or most of the slides, with these directions. Full turn to your neighbor, big gestures, and repeat what I said over and over. Teach. That's your transition. If your kids are not used to this, they may not make the full turn. They may not use big gestures. Maybe they'll just say it once. So you have to give those 3 directions until your kids are used to it. And I've put in always clap, clap, teach. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you clap 3 times. I might let you snap your fingers. But initially, listen to me. If you're a rookie, read the script. Just stay with the script until you get the pattern. You're not ready to freelance. Okay, I made my point. Everybody with me on the 3 directions that you give before you go to the Teach OK. Subs can do it. This is a perfect sub lesson. Just say, just read this to the kids. They'll tell you how to do it. All right. So now I say class, class, and notice I've been doing a lot of drawing. So we're not just talking about one Coach B. We're talking about multiple heads and multiple bodies. Give me a 10-finger woo for my drawing skills. I don't deserve an 11-finger woo yet, but I'm working on it, my friends. All right, so I say we're going to answer a big question. The question is, what is an inference? And I repeat the question twice, and then I give the 3 directions. Full turn, big gestures, repeat the big important question over and over. And I'm done at that point. We're now ready for the answer. Step 1 is over. We know what the question is. Classity class, and a mighty groan, and a mighty oh yeah. And notice the scoreboard is keeping track. Bring them back. Class a doodle do. And now we give the answer. This is one of the longer blocks of text. In fact, it is the longest. Don't get intimidated. You're going to say mirror words and read it off the screen. You're going to ask the question. You're going to give the answer. And our answer is an inference uses what you know to try to prove what you don't know. And all we're doing in this big block of text is saying it twice. And then the triple underneath. There's class kablooey. And I just say, let's do that again. If we have something very complicated, my friends, let's guide them through the same stuff a couple of times. So all I'm doing here is question, answer, repeat the answer, teach your neighbor. Same thing, question, answer, repeat the answer, teach your neighbor. Does everybody see the importance of nailing down this definition of inference? And then I'll show you the application. So, we're now to step 3. We've given the question, we've given the answer. Let's expand it. Repetition height way. You're right, Kate. Class of Rooney Booney. Now, here's the guts of the program. Let's have some examples of inferences. I'll give you the full screen. Now let's try an example of an inference. You're doing mirror words here. I see a dog that looks friendly. That's what I know. And you make the first part of the inference gesture. I think you better see me. Mirror words. Now, let's try an example. I see a dog that looks friendly. That's what I know. My inference is the dog won't bite me. That's what I don't know. Because I haven't petted him yet. I don't know he won't bite me. So I'm starting with what I know. Looks friendly. My inference is he won't bite me. Keep making this gesture over and over again. I think it helps for me to show you how to do the mirror words. Class, class. Do the same thing again. Talk about the dog. Looks friendly. My inference is he will not bite me. I'm trying to prove that based on how he looks. And all you do is just read the screens. Classity, classity. They say yesity, yesity. Now, here's the beauty of this template. Now, it's just like I'm in class with you. Now I go to the board. Give me an ah. Except my board's better than your board because I can have some clip art on there. So now, notice this. Look at the script maybe before you actually read it. But what I said here was, you're going to explain the diagram. That's the brackets part. And then after you explain it, you're going to tell the kids to explain it to each other. So let me show you what that would look like. So I'm in your class, and this is what I'd say. So I've just said class yes, and I'd say, maybe I'd say hands and eyes, and I'd say, okay, now look. You see, there's the dog. Oh, the dog looks friendly. Yes, he looks friendly. Looks friendly. My inference is, what I'm trying to prove is, he won't bite me. Going from looking friendly to inferring he won't bite me. Now I want you to turn to your neighbor, use a full turn, big gestures, and repeat over and over again what I said about that diagram. Okay. Now, class a doodle do, coming back. Let's do another example. I'll show you how I do it. Mirror words. And they'd say mirror words. And then I'm going to make my gestures and speak slowly. If they can repeat after me, I'm going at the right pace. Here's another example. I see a donut covered with frosting. That's what I know. My inference is that it'll taste good. I don't know that. I haven't taken a bite. So I'm going from looks good, covered with frosting. My inference is it will taste good. Tell your neighbors what I said, big turn, etc. All right, I'm going to stop for a second to see if we have any questions. I'm taking a drink at California Clear. Any questions? Oh, we've got someone online from Qatar. Fantastic. All right, so you see the pattern. Now I go to the diagram. The diagram about the donut. Then class is zingy dingy. See, I'm even thinking up stuff to give you variety in the Teach OK. Another, same thing. I see a smiling family going on vacation. That's what I know. My inference is that they're going to have a good time. So all we're doing is lots of simple visual examples. They tell each other, I call them back, and there's my blackboard. And I explain the diagram on the blackboard. Call them back, oh my class. Now I use example for Batman. Batman. Same thing. I explain what I know. I'll tell you what I know about this. Batman finds his Batmobile is out of gas. That's what he knows. There's no gas. His inference is that someone was driving it without his permission. That's what he's trying to prove. Again, from what we know to what we don't know. Class, class. And here's the diagram. So understand we're in step 3 of the lesson. Step 3 of the lesson is always the biggie. You give them the question, you give them the answer, and then you expand the answer with lots of examples. Lots of examples. And then after the examples, you're going to give them some sentence frames where they begin applying what you've taught them. There's a long class. Now I'm to the sentence frames. What I know. So now we want the kids to make some inferences. What do you know? What are you trying to prove? We want them to be using their inference gestures. These are simple little blanks to fill in. Let's do a slightly more complicated. Now it's a sentence frame. What I know is, blah, 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 my inference is. And I said down here, here's my helpers. Because, you know, kids have a hard time thinking about what they can talk about. So I say, begin with something you know about sports or video games or cell phones or texting or school or your friends, family, vacations, TV, music, anything. What do you know? What can you infer? Same pattern over and over and over again. Let's press forward. Class, a ring-a-ding-ding. Now we do hands and eyes, and now I'm going to add. We want to add a because clapper. And I explain about the because clapper. When kids say because, they should be clapping their hands. Folks, I'm pretty sure you're using that because clapper because we're getting a lot of response across the nation. So we're weaving in the because clapper to our inference lesson. Class, 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 class. Then you do mirror words, and this explains how to do the because clapper. So I'm putting a lesson inside a lesson here. Itsy class, and I explain the because clapper. Now I'm going to take because clapper and tie it into inference. We're building a chain of reasoning here. Can we just sit back and think about that? We're building a chain of reasoning that begins with what we know and inferences supported by evidence. Oh, cartoon format, pre-constructed, little bit by little bit. Yes, my friends, I'm excited. So let's go back to our dog. What I know is the dog looks friendly. My inference is he will not bite me because he's also wagging his tail. Class ka-jing-jing. Here's the donut. My inference is it will taste good because frosting tastes yummy. Oh, my sweet class. Now, very important point. The more information you can add after your because, the stronger your inference. I'll say that again. Huge point. The more information you can add after your because, the stronger your inference. What do we want? What we always want in whole brain teaching, we're going to get our kids to speak orderly, well-reasoned paragraphs. That ties into something, perhaps you've heard about it, oral writing, another huge component. You see, this stuff fits together. Oh, my wonderful class. Now, chain of reasoning. My inference is he will not bite me because he's also wagging his tail. He is just a puppy and other kids are petting him. Chain of reasoning. Same thing with the donut. Tastes yummy, donut smells delicious, and my mother made it. Oh, my delightful class. Same thing with the family. So now I'm giving 3 reasons to back up my inference. Lots of because, lots of repetitions, lots of examples. I'm still in step 3. This might be a multi-day lesson. Now I talk about Batman and 3 reasons why he thinks someone drove it without his permission. Now you're seeing here that we're moving towards this 3-part reasoning that we call triple gold. Yes, that's where the writing is going. But we've got a little juicier name than triple gold. All right, now we're still doing it orally. What I know is there are dark clouds. My inference is it will rain because they're working with their neighbors. Little step by little step by little step. Oh, my outrageous class. Let's talk about the new video game, Dragon-O-Mania. My inference is I'll have fun playing it because Brainiac, good to have you online. Oh, my superific class. What I know is all the kids complain about the new soccer coach. My inference is I will not like the coach because. Thank you, Carla Ann. Now they're going to pick something that they know. First I said, talk about soccer, talk about this, talk about that. Now you fill in what you know and give us lots of becauses. Sweet Tech, it takes a special person to be born on January 22nd. I'm sure that you'll agree with that. Now we're to the test. All right. So I give directions here for the quick test. The quick test, you say cutie, they say cutie, they cover their eyes with their hands. And then directions inside here to show you how to explain to them. Thumbs up if it's true, thumbs down if it's false. Do this if you're unsure, if you want me to reteach. Now here's my cutie questions. You're reading these, they don't read them. Here are all my questions about inference. I'll tighten up the screen a little bit. And you can add your own. When you make an inference, you start with what you don't know. In an inference, you prove what you do know with what you don't know. In an inference, you start with what you know. In an inference, you're using what you do know to try to prove what you do know, and so on and so forth. So now you're seeing, do they get the idea of inference? We use the 90-90 rule. We want 90% of the kids to get 90% of the questions right. Because since it's 50-50, they can get at least half of them right just by flipping a coin. If they don't get 90% on this, reteach. And there's plenty of material in this program for you to reteach. I'm going to stop for a second. This is the beauty of an online experience. Any questions about what we've done so far? Because the only piece we have left, really, my friends, is writing, which is the huge piece. California, clear to you all. Any questions? Thank you, Jeff Battle, for the birthday wish. Jeff, can you use this inference stuff in your middle school class? I'm sure that you can. No questions. All right, my friends, I think it's pretty clear. All right. You are going to get a copy of this, my friends. Oh, my lovely class. Now let's do something even harder. Look at the screen. Yes, the kids look at the slides as you read them. You read them. It gives you directions. You are Coach B. It shows you the mirror, the hands and eyes. All you need is, let's emphasize this. Before you start, the kids need to know the class yes, the teach okay, hands and eyes, mirror, and the scoreboard. Spend some time on that. They're all on the website. Then you just read the stuff off of here, and the kids will follow directions. So now I do, look at the screen, now I do strong or weak inference. Give me an ah, because that's what it's all about. Can you tell the difference between a strong and weak inference? Here they are. You see muddy footprints on the carpet, you infer that someone was walking in the mud. You see a slice of cake is missing, you infer that the dog ate it. I'm sorry, my friends, the dog might be innocent. You smell smoke in the kitchen, you start inferring that leaves are burning outside. Do a thumbs up, do a thumbs down on these, and then come back and discuss them so the kids know the difference between a strong and weak inference. The doorbell rings, you infer that someone's pushing it. Yes, that's a strong inference. Now let's hit the writing. As you know, let's go over the 5 steps in the 5-step lesson plan. Let's go full screen. Step 1, ask a question. Step 2, give the answer with a gesture. Step 3, expand the answer with examples simple to complex. Step 4, test for comprehension. That's the QT. Step 5, let's do some writing. All right, let's write. Now, in writing, we're going to start. At this part of the program, I say, you know what, teacher, you're on your own. You put in the class yes, hands and eyes, mirror words, and scoreboard so that you can get some practice. Then I give some examples of inferences. We're going to get them to orally write for a while. More examples of inferences. More examples. I'm giving you lots of examples so you can pick the ones you want. Now, can we do 2 reasons to back up your inference? That's going to be called a double whammy. Somehow I'm going to have to go back and change the triple gold to a triple whammy, or sometimes it's a triple gold, sometimes a triple whammy. I like whammy. It's funnier than the triple gold. All right, let's have a little vote. What do you think? Stick with triple gold. I know you've heard it. Or triple whammy. I'll take a drink while you vote. Yes, the triple whammy. Okay, it's the triple whammy. Triple gold, says Brainiac. Brainiac, you can keep triple gold. Back there on the East Coast. All right, thank you, my friends. Instant feedback. All right, now, here's some examples. Let's go full screen. Here's some examples of 2 reasons backing up an inference. Here's the pattern. What I know is the previews to the Ninja Clowns movie are exciting. My inference is the Ninja Clowns movie will be good. There are 2 reasons I believe this is true. First, the last Ninja Clowns movie was great. Second, the Ninja Clowns video game based on this movie was really fun. So don't give them a writing assignment until you give them a lot of examples. Now here's a good example. Please be sure to use this one. What I know is we're playing a soccer team with a good record. My inference is it'll be hard to win. There are 2 reasons I believe this is true. First, our team has never played soccer. Second, their team is supposed to be 10-year-olds, but some of the kids have beards. That's a double whammy. All right. Now you give them that sentence frame, and they're writing at this point. If they finish one, do another. And it's color-coded. Fill in the blue and green blanks, double whammy. And what's next? A triple whammy. You see that? Now, go close. We're building up to some substantial writing. Look at the color coding. What I know is blah, blah, blah. They can use stuff they've talked about before. My inference is blah, 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 blah. There are 3 reasons why I believe this is true. First, and then add another sentence about the blue reason. That's the beauty of color coding. Second, and then add another sentence about the green reason. Third, add another sentence about the red reason. You put this up on the screen and it's color-coded so your kids know exactly what to do. And that is serious writing, my friends, but it gets even more serious, Carla Ann. Here we go. I want to know who thinks they can get their kids to a triple whammy essay. Let's look at it before you vote. You start with what you know and you give your inference. Then you say there's 3 reasons. First, second, third. Add a paragraph with at least 3 sentences about the blue reason. Paragraph 3 sentences about the green reason. 3 sentences about the red reason, and then sum it up. Brainiac, can you get your second graders to do this? Brainiac, we'd love to see some sample writing from back there on the East Coast. Who thinks, Nancy Stoltenberg, can you get your kids to this level? Nancy says second can do it. Kate, you see how this is going to work for your kids. That's right. And you're right, it's a great structure for ESL. So let's just see how it finishes up. Now, in all of our lessons, we answer a question. So the last thing the kids should write about or talk about is the answer to the question. What's an inference? And then, my friends, here's a special bonus for you. I made a Power Pics for you. There's the Power Pics. What I know, the dog looks friendly. What I'm trying to prove, the dog won't bite me. And on this Power Pics, what we do is, to make things easy for you, up here in white, we put the question and answer. In case you forget, you walk over the board, and you say, oh, the question is, and then down here at the bottom, we give you the gesture right there. What do you do with a Power Pics? What do you do with a Power Pics? That's a great question. What you do is, you put them on the wall for review. Whenever you've got 30 seconds, the kids are reviewing the Power Pics. And then you finish up by telling your kids, review everything you've learned. This is the new template, my friends, and I'm going to just fill it up with lessons. The template works like this, and I hope you're loving it, because it solves a huge problem. I'm taking off my glasses here. You know what that means. It's serious time. The problem is not the teaching system. We know teachers, and they're all over the country, who are having incredible success with this. The problem is implementing the teaching system with people that it's not natural to. Because what's the class yes and the teach okay and the scoreboard and the hands and eyes and the mirror? It's just too much to remember. I agree there's too much to remember. But this program, this template, solves that problem. Because all they have to do is read the speeches and advance the PDF. And it uses all of the basics. And then once you get the pattern, you can do it yourself. Huge problem we faced, which is helping the teachers who want to do this but are not quite comfortable. Now they can. Do you see the beauty of this? I'm putting the glasses back on. All right, my friends. So, if you're doing this for professional development credit, or you want a copy of the PDF, go to PayPal. I'll take you there in a second. And this is program 547. You're going to go right up here, and you're going to put $5.47 in there. And tonight, I will send you a link to the PDF. But I got some more good news for you, my friends. Let's say you want it for free. I can't get it to you for free tonight, but if you want to wait a week or so, we will get it posted under free ebooks. We feel like we've got to do even more stuff for free. So, if you need it now, you need the professional development, or $5.47 doesn't seem too much to you, do it in PayPal. You want to wait a week or so, we'll give it to you for free. Tell me how happy you are to hear Coach B whenever he's talking about that wonderful free word. All right, my friends, let us go back. Yes, we do love free, don't we? But here's the deal. And we'll give you a professional development certificate. You do not get the certificate under the free ebooks. That's the only caveat. We can't give you a certificate under the free ebooks because people will download it and then claim that they watched the broadcast. So that's the only difference between free and not free, is a certificate. In a week or so, we're going to do evidence. Oh yeah. And if you want an on-site seminar, send me an email. At the very end of the program, I give you some suggestions about how you can use this in class. And I put in a little plug if you want to purchase 10 of our webcasts. It's only $19.99. Put $19.99 in PayPal. Here's the 10 that you get. Those 10 and those. And that's $19.99 for a bundle of 10. All right, my friends, give me some questions. New template. Next week is evidence. Coming up after that is just a real simple lesson on verbs, but again in the same format. And then I think we might do one on nouns, and pretty soon we're going to get to main idea and all the rest of that. The link on the forum, when I post these for free, you're just going to have to go find them under free ebooks. Yes, I will post a link on the forum for your certification if you're interested in certification, and many of you are. The 5-step template is reviewed in our webcasts. Holman, just practice a little bit at a time. Cause and effect. Katie Cat, we will do that for you if you'll change your name from red to black. The red means you are a guru. Katie Cat, you're still a rookie. Summarizing is coming too. What is a summary? Thank you, Kate. Verbs is coming. My friends, thank you so much for being my friends. I do appreciate it. And we'd be glad if you would continue to pray for my family. We seem to be doing better, but it's one of those situations that can change. So please include us in your prayers. We thank you so much for that. And my friends, as we say so often, signing off, power to the teachers. See you again soon.